You are 31, and you are doing the math you should have done at 22. It is not comfortable math. It is the kind you do at midnight with a spreadsheet open and a sinking feeling that keeps arriving in your chest like a bill you forgot to pay. You are adding up what you spent in your 20s, not just the money, the time, the years, the ownership you didn't build because you weren't buying any, the pieces of real businesses you didn't accumulate because nobody told you those were the thing that quietly grows while you sleep. You know the number. You have read the articles. A 22-year-old who buys ownership for 8 years and then stops entirely ends up wealthier at 65 than a 30-year-old who buys for the next 35. You wish you hadn't read it, because understanding it doesn't change it. Now you have to carry the knowledge. This is where you start, not at zero, worse than zero, because zero doesn't know what it missed. What did the 20s actually cost you? Let's be honest about it, not brutal, just honest. You earned money in your 20s, not a lot at first, then more, then a little more. You spent most of it. Not on anything catastrophic, that is the part that stings. No gambling, no single mistake you can point to. You spent it on a slow drip of unremarkable choices that felt small one at a time. The newer car you didn't need. The apartment that was $200 a month more than the one across the hall. The trips that felt necessary then and feel ornamental now. The convenience that quietly cost you the future you couldn't see. The real cost was not the spending. The real cost was what that spending was not. It was not equity in real businesses growing year over year. It was not a slice of a small company doubling its revenue while you slept. It was not a down payment on a property that spent the decade quietly getting more expensive. The 20s did not cost you money. The 20s cost you ownership. Something changes around 31, not all at once. It arrives in a series of moments. A friend who quietly bought a duplex in 2019 and just paid off the second one. A coworker your age with a small side business that throws off more cash than your salary did at 26. A relative who mentions they own a stake in 3 local companies you had never heard of. You stop saying you'll start when you have more saved. You stop saying you'll figure it out next year. You make a different kind of decision, not dramatic, quiet. A Tuesday night with a laptop open, a brokerage account, the first automatic transfer to a screened equity portfolio that buys you small fractions of real businesses every month, whether you remember to think about it or not. The first year is not pretty. You call it the debt year, but only in your own head. You're paying off the credit card balance that ate the convenience of your late 20s. You're rebuilding the emergency buffer you depleted twice. You're contributing less than you would like to the ownership account because the floor has to be built before the building can go up. Your monthly balance barely moves. You start to wonder if you started too late after all. You hold. You stop checking the chart every Sunday. You stop comparing yourself to the 27-year-old at work who somehow already has 6 figures in equity. You stop because checking and comparing have never built ownership for a single person in the history of the world. Showing up has. By month 9, the debt is gone. By month 12, the emergency buffer is full. The transfer to the ownership account goes from $300 to $1,200. For the first time in your adult life, you are not just earning, you are accumulating. Cut to 4 years later, you are 35. You own roughly $40,000 worth of slices of real businesses, slowly buying you a share of every dollar of profit they make. You own 0 credit card debt. You have 6 months of expenses in cash for the unexpected. You have a small side income that earns you another $900 a month and is starting to look like it could double next year. You are not rich. You will tell anyone who asks that you are not even close. But the version of you that existed at 31, the one staring at the spreadsheet at midnight, would not recognize what you have now. That version thought the gap was too large to close. You closed half of it in 4 years, from a starting point of less than 0. Here is the thing the friend who started at 24 doesn't have. He never had to make the decision. He drifted into discipline because he didn't know any other way. He was on autopilot before the autopilot mattered. He is good at it now, but he didn't choose it. You chose it. At 31, from regret. With the spreadsheet open and the cost of every wasted year staring back at you. You made the decision on purpose, under pressure. That kind of decision is different. It holds. It survives a job loss, a market drop, a year where the side business doesn't work. It survives because you didn't inherit it. This is the 30s advantage nobody talks about. The person who starts at 31 from regret builds a different kind of wealth than the person who starts at 22 from ease. Not larger, not faster, more durable. The version of you that decided at 31 will still be deciding at 45, because deciding became who you are. Cut to 14 years from where you started. You are 45. You own pieces of dozens of real businesses, accumulating a share of their profits every month. You own a property that you bought 5 years ago when the math finally made sense. You have a small business of your own that generates real cash, not theoretical cash. You have options, not the lottery ticket kind, the quiet kind. The kind that means you could leave the job or stay, and either choice would be a choice, not a survival decision. The friend who started at 24 has more than you do. He always will. That stopped mattering somewhere around 38. What matters is that the version of you at 31, sitting in the dark with the laptop open, is the one you have to thank. This is the truth about starting late. Starting late is still starting. The math will not give you back the 8 years you weren't in. The math will give you the next 30. There is a version of this story where you read this and decide the gap is too large to close. That version exists. People live it. It is not the only version. There is another version where you close the laptop. You open the brokerage account. You set the automatic transfer. You decide that 31 or 33 or 35 or 38 is the youngest you will ever be again, and you start there, from exactly where you are, with whatever you have. The machine of ownership doesn't ask how old you are. It opens every morning. It takes whoever shows up. You have spent enough mornings not showing up. Tomorrow is a different decision.